I'm back, everyone. While I was gone, I got a lot more interested in my last video talking about the audio in war tapes and talking about saturation, compression, and all that fancy stuff that goes behind why war tape sounds the way it sounds. And I got more audio questions that I could possibly answer, including some that I don't know how to answer, because I'm only like, 40% of the way through my audio program in school. Just as a precursor, in case there's any audiophiles out there that want to call me stupid, number one, this video is for people that are playing video games on cheap headphones. I use Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro X's for gaming, and when I'm editing video or I'm in Pro Tools, I have a pair of DT1990 Pro MK2s. These are reference headphones, so yes, of course, I don't really like war tapes, but that's not the point of the video that I made last time. I tend to stick to the default mix or high dynamic or hi-fi, something in that range. So you can save all your stupid comments telling me that I'm a fraud. I'm here to help people out, not to out-knowledge you. I know compression gets rid of dynamic range, but besides that, I actually had some cool comments from a lot of you, and a lot of questions about why you can't hear footsteps right now. A lot of you seem to be really interested in the end of the video, where I talked about how I helped my friend hear footsteps better. Now the second thing, this video is not gonna be gameplay heavy. All the gameplay you're gonna see is gonna be right here, where I'm talking, and maybe at the end after I'm done doing a little bit of analysis. So if you're not actually interested in audio, you're probably not going to like this video. I had a lot of people click off before like 3 minutes on the last one. So that's just a little forewarning in case you get halfway through this video and you're really bored and you're like, where the hell is the gameplay? But to the point, in this video, I recorded gameplay from each audio mix in Battlefield 6, and then I exported it and put it into Pro Tools so that I could more easily compare between them. In Pro Tools, I don't have to go through a pause menu to switch audio mixes. I just have a nice example so I can toggle quickly between them, and I think that's what a lot of you will find interesting, is being able to hear them so quickly back and forth. Overall, the sound in Battlefield 6 right now is pretty garbage, so my conclusion might not be super interesting, but if you're having trouble hearing footsteps in Battlefield 6, I really think this is just the best advice that I can give you with the current audio mixes. So with that, I'll show you a quick video clip from my trip to LA, and then we'll go straight into Pro Tools. And by the way, the headphones that I use and recommend, including a pair that I used to have that is cheaper that I recommend, are all in my description for this video. They link to Amazon and through their affiliate program. If you buy through those links, I get a small commission of whatever you spend. Now, if you find them cheaper somewhere else, absolutely do that. But if you are wanting to buy a good pair of headphones and you want to help me out at the same time, then feel free to do that. Alright guys, I got all the audio from just a short clip of playing in each mode into Pro Tools, and I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes just kind of listening and analyzing, and overall right now I really think they just screwed up the mix across the board. Like, I've never had trouble hearing footsteps in any game, and it's hard to even hear my own footsteps in most of these mixes. I think there is way too much low end going on right now. And I also think that just the high end in general just needs a boost. Like right here, I've cut out a lot of the bass, and it sounds a lot more reminiscent of older Battlefield games. That helps ever so slightly, but it also takes away from certain sounds. And another thing I'm noticing is that jets are like way too loud right now. I know it's realistic, but like, you almost can't hear anything over that jet. And it just doesn't go away. They just really did screw up the audio mix. I don't know what happened, but if you're having trouble with sound right now, it's probably not anything you're doing wrong. However, I can say that night mode, you can hear those high-end sounds like footsteps a lot more clearly in night mode, because it specifically doesn't accentuate the lower end. And it's the only mix that really does that. It's meant to not be disruptive to your neighbors and stuff. Like the default mix, if we listen here, it overall just sounds kind of muddy. There's not a lot going on the high end, so it makes it hard to hear the rustling sounds from footsteps. And remember, footstep sounds are typically right around here. There is a lower end to the footsteps, like the thud of your footsteps, but you're not really going to hear that over all of the explosions and things going on. So this is where your ear really focuses in when you're playing. And not only are footsteps not loud enough, but there's just not a lot going on up here in general unless there's gunfire. And then the high dynamic range, it doesn't really fix the problem because all it's really doing is turning down the quieter sounds more and turning up the louder sounds more. So those quiet footstep sounds are getting turned down even more. So I really don't recommend default or high dynamic right now. However, I can say that the one where I felt like a really significant improvement was night mode. So if you listen to night mode here, so there's more going on right in here where the footsteps are. And you can hear them better. Like, listen to the difference if I just toggle quickly back and forth between night mode and high dynamic. And then war tapes, with all the distortion stuff going on, it even more, I talked about saturation in my last video. It seems to just accentuate all the muddiness even more right now, because the mix honestly sounds terrible. And there's a lot of stuff I could talk about, but I'm just here to give you quick advice. So I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm going to recommend night mode for literally everybody. So let's listen to night mode compared to war tapes real quick. So starting in night mode, and I'll toggle back and forth. Like, you can hear the glass and everything. And even if I go to war tapes Val, it sounds a little bit better than war tapes, I will say. But night mode, yeah, as you can see, night mode kind of takes down the excess bass that they've got going on right now, and it boosts that high end. It sounds a lot more balanced to me. So if you're having trouble with war tapes or war tapes Val right now, I think just across the board, no matter what headphones you have, night mode is the way to go. To me, it sounds the most balanced. You can hear high-end sounds, you can hear the glass, you can hear the reload sounds more clearly, you can hear footsteps more clearly. I will say directional sound still kind of sucks, and there's not really any advice that I can give you on how to improve directional sound, because that's just a game design thing. Maybe if you have like 7.1 headphones, that would help. But you shouldn't really need a special pair of headphones to be able to hear what's going on in the game, or hear where things are around you. So consensus between all the mixes, night mode all the way right now. I don't know what the hell they did to the mix, and I know there's no visual here, but in this clip I actually heard a guy outside around the corner, and I was having a lot of trouble with that in the other mixes. But I am going to bring up this point as well, because this is where I think a lot of you enjoyed the end of my last video. And if you want the full story, I would just go to the end of my last video, because I don't want to retell the story for people that saw my last video. But this is a frequency response curve for my friend's headphones who was having trouble hearing footsteps. And what this is showing us is, on the left is our low frequency sounds, like this is our bass. This is those rustly sounds, like the tinny sounds up at the top here. And as you can see, it slopes up down here at the base, and then right here, right about where the footsteps were, that's where his headphones don't replicate the sound very well. And because his headphones aren't very good at replicating those high frequency sounds right there, I recommended night mode to him. But there's another point. If you're on PC, I also recommend going to your sound settings. And this is probably different on Windows 10. I don't even think I have this option I'm going to tell you about on Windows 11. But if I go to more sound settings, if you go to enhancements, you might have a bass boost or a low frequency boost or something like that right in here. If that is checked on and your headphones have a bass boost at the bottom, that's probably going to make it harder to hear these sounds even more. So overall, that's the only advice I can give you, because they really did just completely screw up the audio. I don't know what they're thinking or doing, but night mode will help you hear those footsteps better and high frequency sounds, and turn down that bass a little bit. And then if you still are having trouble hearing and you're on PC, go try turning off that bass boost setting if you have that enabled. But overall, yeah, Battlefield 6 just kind of needs to get their shit together with the sound. I don't know why they changed it. I didn't have too much of a problem with it beforehand, and now it just seems like the volume levels of things are all over the place, and everything is way too muddy at the low end. There's a lot of low frequency sounds, and those high frequency sounds, it's almost like they're intentionally cutting them off to make it feel intense, but it's obviously frustrating a lot of people, so hopefully they change that back soon. And I have had a couple of you that actually know what you're talking about when it comes to audio in the comments. I do know about root mean square. I just figured that's probably a little bit too complicated of a thing to talk about in my last video. I know this gain meter here actually goes for your peak volume, like even if it's just an immediate peak in the volume. But considering this is processed audio and they've got compression going on in game, I figured it would be accurate enough without having to explain to everyone what root means, square means. But yes, that is definitely a better measurement of perceived loudness overall. So guys, I'm sorry I couldn't give you a lot better advice in this. A lot of it is just the problem with the game audio right now, but I really think that if you don't already have night mode enabled and you enable that, it's going to help a lot of your problem. And just for the record, if you are able to hear high-end sounds really well and you don't feel like there's enough bass, I would probably stick with Wartape's Val right now, because out of all the other ones, I feel like it still has good high-end going on. So there you have it, guys. As I said, not super analytical or anything, but it's kind of all I can really give you for advice right now. And also for those of you that are here for more of my game review and nostalgia content, don't worry, this is the last audio video I'm going to do for quite a while. I'm already in school for this stuff, so talking about it is actually stressing me out a little bit. And I'm on Christmas break right now, so it's kind of funny actually. But for those of you that are enjoying the audio content, I really hope you enjoyed this. And if you learned anything, let me know in the comments. And if you overall just like the style of my channel, please consider looking around and liking the video and subscribing. My next video will be something gameplay related with Battlefield. I might just do a Bad Company 2 multiplayer video, or I might try out Battlefield 3 Venice Unleashed, that one of you recommended a while back. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten. But either way, there will be something interesting coming up, so hang tight. Besides that, Happy New Year, guys. We survived another one. Hope you all have a great 2026, and I will see you guys in the next video.